Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of Popcorn Problems. My name is Elon Pressman, and I'm here with my very good friend and fellow co-host.
Nicholas Tapasco. Every week, we'll make sure you're caught up with the biggest news and movies in Hollywood.
This week, we're going to be reviewing Hoppers, one of last weekend's biggest new releases. But before we get to that, what's poppin'? Where we run through the biggest movie stories of the week. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. We are 1 week away from the Oscars, so we'll be able to talk about that next
Woo!
episode. I'm very excited. Should be pretty fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's start with the box office like we always do.
How's... Oh, I was gonna... No,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
continue.
No, no, no,
No, I
no.
was
Go
just gonna
ahead.
say, how have you been, Alon?
I'm good. Working. I was on set today. It's pretty
Mhm.
fun. Um, what have I been doing? Yeah, just working, grinding. Next week I'm on set. The week after I'm on a couple sets. So I'm honestly pretty booked, and then I'm working all in between. So it's pretty hectic over here.
Busy, busy schedule over
But
here.
yeah, just pushing through. What about you, man?
Same, honestly. I've just been working on school, working on writing, going to work. Haven't been sleeping a lot, but
Not good news. Lock in.
you sleep. You'll have your moments where you're like you sleep for 1,000 years and then you don't sleep at all for 500 years. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know why I'm talking about years,
Uh-huh.
but but like you know what I mean. Like you'll have moments in during the year or like in your life where you'll sleep a lot and then you'll sleep not so much. So I think I'm just like I'm in one of those moments. You know what I mean?
Got
In a
gotcha.
in a good way, hopefully. But
Okay.
yeah, you can.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's funny, bro. You always have such a elegant way of phrasing things.
I thank you. I believe you.
Okay, so this weekend brought in a total of $94.9 million, which is up 41% from this week last year, but down 14.5% from this weekend, from last weekend. Number one of this week was Hoppers, which is the film that we're going to be reviewing. It pulled in 46 million domestically, which globally brought it to 88 million on a 150 million dollar budget. It's Pixar's biggest opening since Coco. Its biggest original opening since Coco in 2017.
Oh, I'm happy
Second
about
place
that.
this week, yeah. I'm excited to talk about that film with you.
Mm.
Second place this week was Scream 7, 17.3 million domestically this week, which is a 73% drop from last week, which means that domestically it's at 93.4 million and 149.5 million global, only on a $45 million budget. Horror typically drops 60% or more in its second weekend, so the 73% drop is not too crazy. It's still on track to become the biggest in the franchise, domestically at least. Um,
Oh, dope.
Number three, yeah. Number three, we have The Bride! Exclamation point, which pulled in 7.3 million domestic, 13.6 global on an $80 million budget. Maggie Gyllenhaal's Frankenstein reimagining fell very short on pretty much every front. A C plus cinema score, 59% Rotten Tomatoes, low income overseas, and an end to Warner Bros.' streak of 10 consecutive number one debuts. Industry sources
Crazy.
think the losses could approach $90 million by the time it's done in theaters, because of the 65 million in advertising costs on top of the 80 million production budget. It's interesting. I want to point out that The Bride was the last film under Warner Bros. Picture Chair's Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi. Um, so yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Question: Is the exclamation point in the title?
I believe so.
So for any red letter media heads, they have this little thing where if a title has any sort of punctuation, exclamation, question mark, whatever, the movie isn't gonna do well. And
Hmm.
up to this point, that theory has been proven right because there was also Mother of directed by Darren Aronofsky that had like a question mark at the end of it or something like that, or maybe an exclamation point as well.
Hmm.
That movie didn't do well. There are other examples that I can't think of. Um, But I just think that's very interesting, and also honestly a little bit sad too. I didn't watch The Bride. You didn't watch The Bride either, I believe, right?
No, not yet. I do want to eventually.
Yeah, same. I will say, I've heard things about like the story or everything like that, and you said that this was the last film made under DeLuca and somebody else. Uh,
Yeah, Abby.
I Abby, yeah, her. I do hope like that sort of spirit continue. I mean, it probably will. Let's be honest, it probably won't. But I hope that sort of spirit in terms of like the films that Warner Brothers chooses to make, obviously depending on what happens during this merger, continues. Because if they did the last few films, even if The Bride turned out to be a little stinker, uh, I still think it's significant in having and being like a very unique film in the way that like it's presented, and just kind of the story of it all. Um, and something that I don't think like an average studio would greenlight. So yeah, I didn't know that that was the last one. That makes me a little sad and a little distrustful about the future of Warner Brothers, more than more than we should already be about the future
Yeah,
of Warner Brothers. But
it's kind of hard to talk about it, not having seen The Bride because I
yeah,
have
right,
heard
right.
only just abysmal things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I hope to watch it by next week, so hopefully I'll be able to talk about it in the podcast next
Same,
week.
same.
Yeah. Let me look on the box office. Anything else interesting? They re-released Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, and that opened at 10 this week at 1.3 million domestic, which is
I
pretty
think you
cool.
could. I think you could put a little picture of the Demon Slayer characters on a pair of dangling keychains, and then just put that in front of a camera for 2 hours, and Demon Slayer fans will go watch it. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just the thing.
That's
Yeah,
pretty funny.
I know a few Demon Slayer fans. They will kind of just watch anything at this point with their characters. So just,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy though.
Um, yeah.
To the
So I
animation.
mean that's pretty cool. Okay, so moving on to news. They dropped the final trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy film, and I actually didn't watch the trailer. Just
I
because
didn't either actually.
yeah. Okay, cool. Because I don't, I feel like they're probably gonna be show too much if I had to guess. So I'm just waiting for the
Mm.
movie. We did get some casting announcements, which I want to talk about. The coolest one is Donald Glover has been cast as Yoshi in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is pretty cool. We have Luis Guzman, who played, what's a good example? He played Gomez on the Wednesday show. That's the first thing that comes to
He's
mind.
He's Fluffy, if you know that Mexican comedian. I think, right? No, no, he's not Fluffy.
No,
Oh my god,
no,
my
no,
bad.
no, no, no. He's not. He's
Oh my
not.
god. Wait. Never mind, never mind. He's not Fluffy. He's the other one. Yeah, I know exactly who you're
That's
talking
funny.
about. Holy shit.
Yeah. He
For
was cast.
context, I am Hispanic, so I can I can
Yeah.
do that sort of confusion.
It's all right. It's all
Okay.
right. Yeah. So he was cast as Vort in the movie, and then Issa Rae was cast as Honey Queen. So they're really getting a lot of different Nintendo characters, like Mario characters, for this, and I'm so excited. I'm excited to see how deep in the bag they're gonna go for the characters.
For
Um,
sure.
and I don't know, Super Mario Galaxy was always my favorite growing up, so I'm really
Hmm.
I hope they do it justice. I'm really excited for the movie.
Same. I'm a little. I hope they just don't blow. I guess proverbially blow their load on just like the second film. I feel like the. I feel like it should have been built up to Mario Galaxy, maybe as like a trilogy, as like the third film.
Well, I think they have to
Um,
be doing Smash Bros, right? That has to be where this is going.
no, I think if we do get a Smash Bros. I don't think we're getting a Smash Bros. Movies in 5 years. I don't think because I think I could see a Smash Bros. Movie happening for sure, but I don't think that's gonna be like the next one the next Mario movie, if that makes
No,
sense.
next is probably gonna be
Uh,
Odyssey, and then they're gonna build up some other franchises,
but do you think
and
they're gonna go?
that.
But Odyssey's already in Galaxy.
Well, we don't know that for sure. I'm sure maybe
Well,
parts of
yeah, no,
it.
we do. Well, yeah, parts of
Cap,
it, but
like
I get.
Cappy and all that.
No, well, no, not Cappy, but we've seen Tostarena, the desert island,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
a big
I know that.
plays
I
like a
know that,
big.
but that's just like a location. I don't know if I would consider that them doing the
Well,
game.
I guess my point isn't necessarily about because also we haven't seen Mario 2, but my point is mainly about like the title. right? Like going from Super Mario movie to Super Mario Galaxy movie is just like a big jump. And I can understand like the reasons of doing that behind like marketing, and also like Mario Galaxy is one of the most popular Mario games. Um I just scope creep, if you know that term.
Yeah, we'll see.
Uh
I will say Mario Galaxy is inherently cinematic, so it's not a
that
bad
too.
choice.
That too. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited for it regardless.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so yeah, next I want to talk about quickly is a live action Tinkerbell series is in the works at Disney
Oh,
Plus. Yeah, so that's that.
do we know anyone
Um,
behind it?
no, no, at
Oh,
least
okay.
no one interesting enough for them to put in the headline.
Got you.
Um, Keeping on the Disney train, Catherine Hahn has been officially cast as Mother Gothel in live action Tangled remake, which is really cool. She's been fan cast. I was fan casting her. She has a great singing voice, great physicality to her performances. Um, I think she's a fantastic choice for Mother Gothel.
Yeah, for sure, typecasted. That was such a easy pick,
Yeah, it
and
honestly would have been
for the
stupid to
emotion.
to choose anyone else.
Very true. Yeah, I mean, after Agatha, like Agatha is basically kind of Mother Gothel, and like it's a flavor of it. So
Yeah, and it's both Disney. She's already in the Disney wheelhouse. It just made sense. It was
exactly.
easy. Next, DreamWorks Animation set Troy Quane and Heidi Jo Gilbert to direct The Wild Robot Escapes, the sequel to The Wild Robot. That's a film I thought that was beautiful and doesn't really get talked about much anymore past its release, which I think is
Hmm.
such a shame. I thought it was so well animated. I thought it was beautiful, entertaining. Have you seen The Wild Robot?
I did, and I liked it. I didn't love it. I remember when it came out, like it got a bunch of praise saying like this is great. Like this is if Pixar made a DreamWorks movie or whatever it is, or the other way around if DreamWorks made a Pixar movie. I
Yeah,
really did like. I even cried at it at a certain point, but I think for me, I don't know. I don't think I was really sold on like all the characters. I don't think I cared about them like that. Especially the main character
hmm
being like a robot. Like, but I don't know why I'm criticizing it, but I really did like that film. I thought it was gorgeous. I did like the fox played by the guy.
Pedro.
No, yeah, Pedro Pascal. Yeah. And I like the story a lot, and I also like the setting. And I know I said this already, but it is gorgeous. It is a gorgeous film.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no. Why did you like it a lot?
I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it was really pretty, entertaining. Just a very touching story, and the voice
Yeah.
performances were really nice.
It was also directed by the guy
Uh,
who did How to Train Your Dragon, so and written, I think, as well.
Interesting. There you go.
Chris Sanders.
Yes, yes, Chris Sanders. But looks like he's
Yeah.
not returning for the second one.
Yeah, interesting. I always think that's so interesting when they do that. I mean, he's probably busy making How to Train Your Dragon live action too. So
Maybe. Is he
he's
involved with
attached to that.
those?
Yeah,
Is
I
he?
think he's directing those. Chris, either directing or writing or doing something like that. Let me give you for sure
Yes, Lilo and
information.
Stitch too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. Wait. I'm a little confused about. I keep confusing my
Yeah,
people today. I'm so sorry.
yeah, yeah. He's writing the screenplay for Lilo and Stitch too.
Okay. And who's the guy who did How to Train Your Dragon?
Not him. Like I think he wrote the original, or he
Oh
was something with the
yeah.
original, but not this one.
Yeah, he was the writer for the original. So then who directed the Because I
Yeah.
know it was
Oh,
the same
he's
director.
he's still a writer for the sequel as well, Wild Robot Escapes. So he's
Oh,
still
okay.
involved.
Okay. Cool.
He's just not
Oh
directing.
yeah. Okay. My bad. I got confused with Dean Dubois, which
Yeah.
is the a director of both the original and the live action remake, and I think he's also making the second one.
Yeah, he is.
Directing the
He
second one.
is. He
Okay,
is.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Last thing I want to mention is that Garfield is getting a new animated series at Paramount Plus with Lamorne Morris voicing the famous lasagna-loving cat. Even though I really didn't like the most recent animated film, I love Garfield, and so I'm always gonna watch new Garfield content.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch the
He
new
hates
movie.
Mondays. He hates Mondays. I mean, shit, I hate Mondays.
What is there not to love? Yeah, I didn't watch the new movie. I don't know. I just didn't have time for it, I suppose. I also don't like the fact that Chris Pratt voices
Yeah,
everything.
I'm happy they replaced him very quick. They didn't give him more content as the
Yeah,
cast.
and I also think. Oh wait. Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Um, I'm very interested at this new guy. What did you say his name was? Lamar something.
L- Lamorne Morris.
Lemoyne Morris. Yeah. Um, yeah, because I've seen him in a few things like before, and I thought it was pretty funny. And I wouldn't expect him for a Garfield voice. So they're definitely cooking up something interesting over there at Nickelodeon.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely interesting. So we'll see what they got over there. So
For
that brings
sure.
us to the end of what's poppin' and into what we watched. I don't know if you guys remember, about 2 weeks ago, we mentioned that we were gonna do a new segment where me and Nick would every week watch a movie that we recommended, and then we kind of ignored it last week. Sorry about that. Um, we're just gonna be reviewing all that jazz this week. And then as okay, so let's review all that jazz, and then I'll tell you what movie you're gonna be watching for next week.
Cool, cool, cool. Bet. So yeah, I mean, you haven't seen it, so you were the
Yeah,
one who hasn't seen it yet. So I
yeah.
want to hear your thoughts first.
Um, I really don't have much to say about this movie. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
fine. It was an interesting look at like the show business of like the time, and seeing like kind of how corrupt it was. I also really liked seeing the dance sequences. I thought they were very elaborate, very well choreographed. I like the songs. I just didn't care much for the characters or what was going on. I never really got too invested in the story.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I thought it was a, a, a nice use of my time, but it's not a movie that I'm going to be thinking about too much in the future or like hoping to rewatch.
I love when you don't love a movie or when you don't really like a movie, you get like super economical about it. You get super like, uh, it was a good use of my time, or like, I know what you mean. I think that's funny.
That is very
Um,
funny.
Interesting. So, okay, I guess I'll give my thoughts.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I watched this movie a few years ago during high school, actually, and I really liked it back then. Um, Also because I was like studying Bob Fosse at the time, working on a musical with you, actually, Alon. Um,
Chicago.
Chicago, co-directed it, whatever, and you acted in
Chicago.
it.
Chicago.
Yeah, so at the time, I was studying him, and I really liked the film, and so I just thought of it to watch right now. And on rewatch, the flaws definitely do stand out a little bit more. It really runs. It really drags at some moments, and in terms of well, I guess I'll talk about this a little bit later because I also coincidentally happened to watch another Bob Fosse film this week. Um, but in terms of like the musical moments, there are good ones, but they're not my favorite. And they can get like a little boring at some points. But I think it's interesting that you say that you didn't connect with the characters. What did you think of the main character of the? I don't remember his name. Joey or Joe.
Yeah, I just didn't find him. I just kind of found him to be an asshole, which is definitely the point.
Mm, yeah,
But I just didn't. I don't know. Like I feel
you
like
didn't
there's
find him like
interesting ways.
likable.
Yeah, I didn't. There's interesting ways to write an asshole. Like I said, I've been watching BoJack Horseman, and
Mm.
he's a terrible character, but he's very well interesting, and I still connect with him. I don't know. I just didn't. Maybe it was the performance. I don't know. I just didn't get into the character or what was going on to him.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of taste at this point. Just because like I
Yeah.
really like him as a character. Um, I don't know. I like the fact that he's an asshole, and I think his type of asshole is very different from BoJack Horseman's type of asshole, which
Hmm.
I also like a lot. just because I feel like his is supposed to be, I guess, more dramatic, more, for lack of a better words, realistic. When I feel like BoJack Horseman is like, I guess, a little more comedic, and so like his like asshole is like will be funny. When in this one it's just kind of sad. But I like that. I like the fact that it's sad. How like genuinely kind of a shitty person he is, because I agree. Um, Also, fuck, there was something else I wanted to say. Yeah, I don't know. Say something else because I forgot what I wanted to say. But say another thought you've had if you have.
Yeah, I briefly touched on this earlier, but I thought the dance sequences were really, really pretty. Like the costumes,
Mm-hmm.
the choreography, the movement of the camera. I just thought it all worked really well, and you could really see that like Fosse knew how to do a dance number and how to shoot
For
one
sure.
and how to make it visually interesting and entertaining.
No, totally. Yeah, the dance sequences are really great, especially towards the end when it gets a lot more I want to say metaphorical, with like all the elaborate sets. And yeah, I think they're really great. I guess I just wish the subject matter. I think the point, a little bit of the point of the film, is that like the subject matter of the actual play that they're working on is like shit, or not shit, but just like kind of airless. I don't know if I don't know if you agree with me on that, or if you think something else.
No, I
Um,
agree. I agree.
yeah. Um, but like, so I think that's what really like struggled for me in terms of like really getting into the dance sequences. But regardless, I was blown away by their choreography, by like actual thought process of it. And
Yeah,
I think more than anything, I like the scenes of them building the choreography, the actual dance sequences.
yeah. I like getting the little like view behind the scenes, as well as actually seeing the final product. It was very cool.
Yeah. Which will actually, I remembered what I wanted to say earlier, which was
Hmm.
I do think this. I mean, I don't know if you like clocked this, but it's supposed to be like autobiographical about like Bob Fosse himself. Like Joey is supposed to be Bob Fosse.
Yeah,
And
I didn't clock that, but I found out after while doing like research about the film.
yeah. Which, funnily enough, obviously Bob Fosse was alive for this whole film, during making it, but he also died of a heart attack, eventually.
Oh wow,
Um, yeah. I looked that up like while we were watching the movie. I was like, I wonder how he died, and if yeah, whatever. Spoilers. Sorry.
interesting.
Um, but yeah, another thing I was gonna say is I don't like how everybody is absolutely in love with Bob Fosse, or with Joey, the main character. Um, I think it's cool that he's an asshole and that he's like unrelenting in his assholeness, but I also think that everyone being so like, oh my god, you're such a genius, oh my god, like I'm in love with you, oh, you're so good to us, this and the other, when he clearly isn't. I I guess it gets like the point of like, oh my god, cult of personality and everything, but also I do wish he had some actual consequences towards his behavior, more than just his ultimate demise. Um, yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that part was a little bullshit, especially when after he spoke to his ex-wife while she was like practicing, and like they were talking about his infidelity. And then when he leaves the room and she's like, "Oh my god, that man is gonna drive me crazy." I'm like, okay, like you literally divorced him. I feel like there should be more animosity here. Um, yeah, I don't know. That scene really like, I like the scene. I didn't love the conclusion, but yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. That did not, that helped me knock it down, less than what I thought, what I used to think about it.
cool, cool. So yeah,
Yeah,
so that's our thoughts on all that jazz. I'm gonna let you know right now what movie we're gonna be watching for next week.
hit it
It's
with me.
going to be Muppets Take Manhattan.
Ooh, hell yeah.
I really wanted to do a Muppets film, and I was considering doing the 2011 film,
Uh
but
huh.
I wanted to take it back a little bit, and I think Muppets Take Manhattan might be my favorite one. it's definitely
I think
top
it might be my
two.
favorite one too, or like
I don't,
it's in there.
it's really high up there.
I haven't seen all the Muppets
Um,
films, but
yeah, I haven't seen it in a couple of years. And I think yeah, that's the movie we're gonna be watching. Muppets Take Manhattan. Pretty
solid
hyped.
fucking pick. I'm hype, bro. I'm hype. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's a gas film. Okay, so something else that I want to talk about that I watched this week, and I believe you did as well, was Ted season two.
Hell yeah.
Um, yeah, so Ted season one dropped in 2023 on Peacock, and not many people saw it, but I feel like everyone that did loved it. It was hilarious. It was well written. The characters are likable. The CGI on Ted was fantastic. It always looked
Mm-hmm.
great. And so I've honestly been really excited for season two, and it finally dropped. And I am so happy to report that it's great. Not only is it great, I almost want to say it might be better than season one. Um, you could tell they're given a higher budget, they're able to do more cool things. We get more time with some of the side characters, specifically Aunt Susan. She's so good in this season, she's so funny. All the characters are so great, so well written. Um, it's honestly insane how well Seth MacFarlane can craft a TV show when he's not boggled down by his Family Guy like worst tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't
I
know.
was
Like
thinking
it's
about that during the
yeah,
show real quickly. Like I was thinking like I'm very impressed at Seth I was gonna say Seth Rogen. Seth MacFarlane's ability to not depend on cutaway gags almost at all during this whole
yeah.
show.
It's so well written. It's so funny. The
Mm-hmm.
guy who plays young Mark Wahlberg might be one of my favorite like up and coming young comedic actors, just
For sure.
because he is so funny. He is
Yeah.
literally when you think about it, he's acting off of nothing, and
Mm-hmm.
his chemistry with Ted is so perfect. Their dynamic is so awesome. Um, it's 8 seasons, all about 30 to 35 minute episodes, and it's just fantastic. The dad character, Maddie, is so funny. He's played by the guy who voices the son in American Dad.
Really?
Yeah,
That's so what? Wait. The little nerdy kid, the little horny
yeah. The
freak.
nerd. Yeah. That's the one. He
That's
voices him.
so crazy. I would have never
Yeah,
expected that.
yeah. Like it's so funny, but it's so like every episode has something to say, and it
Yeah.
like says it in a really well articulated way, while not
Mm-hmm.
shoving it in your face and like being able to like be funny about it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There was a really cool like Dungeons and Dragons episode this season that was really fun. And like I said, the Aunt Susan stuff was fantastic. Nick, I'm pretty sure you said you also liked this one, right?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you on everything. It was an incredible season. It was way better than I expected it to be. I watched the first season and I really liked it a lot. But I literally finished this in a day in one sitting. I didn't expect it to do that, but I thought it was incredible. Um, yeah, everything kind of basically everything that you said about it being still comedic yet still meaningful, yet not being like preachy or I guess woke or anything like that. Like it was really great. Something I will mention is I love how every episode involved every character. Everybody
Yeah,
had something to do and and had like distinct decisions that was significant to them. Um, yeah, no, I don't know. I think it just made the world feel so lively and funny and unexpected. It. What else can I say about it? Yeah, the animation is great as well on Ted. Like it impresses me every single time how there is nothing there, in during filming.
yeah. It's
Um,
crazy because he looks so good. The way he
he
interacts
does.
with the environment. It's such a
Mm-hmm.
shame that we won't be getting a season three
Oh,
because
I
of the
didn't
high
want to talk about
production
it.
cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly so tragic and heartbreaking. Um, just 'cause it's so good. Like I really I've been recommending it to everyone around me these past few days,
Mm-hmm.
just because it really is that good. Um, literally the only thing that Peacock has going for it. Like
I would say
genuinely.
maybe a little bit too much like weed dependence jokes, just like or just jokes depending on weed, I suppose, or like where the punchline is weed.
But
Um,
that's just Ted. Like that's the characters. Like they're
yeah, but I was gonna
stoners.
say yeah, that pretty much like, but it fits within like their world.
Yeah,
It makes
yeah.
sense.
I have seen people like being upset that like this guy grows up to be Mark Wahlberg. I think that all that stuff is really funny.
Yeah, to be
Um,
honest, I haven't seen those Ted movies in like forever. So I'm a little scared
yeah.
to go back to them and like have that person that I know from the Ted show be a completely different because I know he's like kind of an asshole in those movies.
No,
So or something like that.
listen, this guy does a really good job playing a younger Mark Wahlberg. Like they do feel very similar in character.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly would really like to see like a Ted 3. That's like a prequel to the movies, but like a sequel to the show.
The college
And
years.
yeah, yeah, and then have it be like Blair and Ted and
Mm-hmm.
Johnny on some like hijinks. I mean, like that just sounds awesome. That could be so great. Like give it that movie budget.
That'd be
That
so
I
dope.
mean,
I'd love that actually.
yeah, there's just so much fun possibilities. Now the cat's out of the bag. We have the actor to play uh, the younger version of the guy. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's great. I really had a fun
What was
time with Ted
your
season two.
what was your favorite episode of the season?
Um, it might have to be the Aunt Susan and Jill one. That one is so good.
Which one was that one? Sorry.
Like when Aunt Susan like takes the fall for the weed and for their weed, and then
Oh,
she goes to
yeah,
prison.
yeah.
Yeah, that
That
shit was
one's it.
great.
I think mine would have to be uh the the show, the one where they go on show and then they take shrooms by
Oh my
accident.
God, that episode was fantastic as well.
Is that the one where they work at Dunkin' Donuts? Where the parents work at Dunkin' Donuts? No, that's a different episode.
No, I
Because
think
that was
that's the
also a
one
good
with the
one.
old ladies.
Oh, true. Oh, another great episode was the one where they're trying to trick that guy, the 500 cigarettes guy, into like it was like I think the second episode of the season
Uh-huh.
where they're trying to trick him to like believe that there's this even worse kid that spent five thousand
Oh,
dollars on the telephone sex line.
yeah. That was I think episode one. I think that was literally the first episode.
Was it? Oh my god, that was oh
Yeah,
yeah, it might have been.
that
Yeah, that was a great episode too. That was really
yeah
funny.
yeah. The finale was great too. With the
Yeah,
whole
the
like
finale was incredible.
OJ the OJ verdict and them
Mm-hmm.
having to like lie to Maddie. All that was just so great. Just a great show all around. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Ted season two.
Yeah, no, it was really funny.
Yeah, Nick, you said you had something else that you watched this week.
Yeah, so I actually watched two more things this week. I watched
Go
Sweet
ahead.
Charity, which
Uh huh.
was the other Bob Fosse film that I talked about, or that I watched and talked about. It was the Gorillas screening, which okay, I guess I can talk a little bit about that as well. First off, if you've never, I've never. This was my first time at the Alamo Draft House. Holy cow, what an experience! I think this is also might just be specific to the one that I went to in Lower Manhattan, where it's also a Kim's Video underground. For those unfamiliar, Kim's Video is like a cult famous like video store here in New York.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so there's like a Kim's Video, and it's like a whole like kind of a little bit of an exhibition of VHSs and also like some movie statues and really cool posters. And then the actual experience of going to Alamo was basically a restaurant where they kept your card. They gave you a menu. Then like there's like a little waiter guy that comes by every I don't know like maybe 45 minutes or so. He's like, and if you press a little button, you order, and it's like pretty cool. Honestly, genuinely, it's something I'd never been to before. I did not expect, and the food was good. I ordered some salsa and queso, or chips and queso.
Oh, fire!
Um, yeah, it was really, bro. It
How
was
was it?
so good. I saw it was so dope. I saw the person next to me see my food, and then they ordered the food that I ordered. I was like, bro, yeah, eat that shit, bro.
Oh,
Eat
there
that
you
shit up, bro.
go.
That
There
shit
you
was
go.
yum. That's how you know
That's
you
so
valid,
cool.
bro.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
so and now actually talking about the actual experience. The Gorillas thing documentary was great. The music video was great. It really adds to the album. I don't know. There isn't much to say about that. And then the film Sweet Charity was really funny. I did not know anything about this movie before I watched it, and it turned out to be a movie musical set in New York, um, about a girl who, for lack of a better terms, keeps falling in love with different men in the city, and her experiences through that. And it's a really long film with great musical sequences directed by Bob Fosse. See, um, and yeah, I don't know. I just had a smile on my face the whole time. The actual story, without spoiling, the actual story is, kind of sad. Seeing her, I guess, dependence on the drug of love. Um, but her name in the film is Charity Hope Valentine, and that's kind of what you feel the whole time. Like it's a very hopeful film. The main character, she doesn't lose hope throughout any of it, and even on her lowest of lows, um, she also can't help but smile. Um, yeah, I don't know. More than anything, it was just kind of beautiful. The positivity that the film has is genuinely infectious. And the musical and dance sequences are great, and so were the characters. Not just the main character, obviously, but also the other one, her friends, and the men she falls in love with, and all of the everyone. Everyone does a great job. Um, as this Everyone does a great job, almost as this kind of like caricature of these stereotypes of the type of people, and you'll definitely cringe in moments of like relating to what either whichever character is going through, because it's kind of a universally relatable film in my opinion.
Hmm.
um yeah, and I definitely thought that the dance sequences were better in this than in All That Jazz. um and I think that's it. Just watch Sweet Charity. It's a lot of fun. It's a long film, so buckle in, but you won't regret it.
Cool. How long is it? You
Yeah.
keep saying it's long. How long is it?
There was an intermission, so I'll tell you that
Oh,
much.
damn. Okay.
Yeah, let me give you the exact thing. It was two. Okay, I guess it's not too long. It's 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Okay, it's
Um,
not too bad, but it felt longer for you.
it definitely felt long, especially because a lot of I guess this is a complaint. Some of the dance sequences are really drawn out, and it does get to a point where I'm like, okay, like we can move on to the actual story, especially since they're not all entirely relevant in terms of like plot progression. Um, but I think also maybe me not knowing or not expecting the film to be what it is, um, didn't help that. Didn't help that sort of feeling, and so I do at some point want to watch it again, just like knowing that like the dance sequences and really taking them in is the point. But yeah, regardless, everyone should watch it. It's a beautiful film. I
Cool.
I was thinking about this. One more thing, I was thinking about this as I was leaving. I think this is unironically the most New York film in spirit and essence I've seen ever, probably.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And
In
I'll
like a good way. In like a good way, I
yes,
assume.
yes, yeah, in an absolutely good way.
Cool.
Yeah. And I'll leave that as my final thought.
Cool. All right. So you said you had one more movie you wanted to talk about?
Oh yeah. I did watch. I literally watched this less than almost an hour or 2 hours ago. Uh, Idiotka or Idiotica. I think I don't know how to pronounce it because the characters and the are Russian. Um, but yeah, so it's this film. It's a little indie film that I honestly had heard nothing about other than just seeing the poster, and I saw a review saying that it was good. So I was like, okay, you know what? It's not too long. I think it's an hour and 22 minutes. So I was like, we can just pop in, pop out, whatever. And I had a lot of fun with it, and not just a lot of fun, but genuinely emotional story. So in essence, it's about this Russian girl living in Hollywood, North Hollywood, um, with her recently released from prison father and grandmother and brother. And the girl is a fashion designer, or she wants to be. She's an aspiring fashion designer. Um, and she gets the opportunity to go on a fashion design reality show where she has to compete against other fashion designers to like win the prize or whatever. But that's not really the point of the film. The point of the film is highlighting her family and how kooky and crazy they are, but in a good way. Um, they're all, I mean, I can't really say with this with authority, but they are all incredibly, or at least what I would think of as uniquely Russian. Um, I don't know. They speak to each other a certain way. They culturally are a certain way. It's a very Russian film to begin with. And I feel like I'm struggling to think of like something concise to say about it, just because I just saw it. But overall, it was incredibly funny. It was incredibly gripping emotionally. Like, I was surprised by some of the ways that this film sort of plays with its comedic timing and just choosing what to highlight. And I really connected to the main character. And I mean, honestly, really all the main characters. Everyone was acted incredible. Um, I would say it's, if I had to give it a comparison, it's like a proto Sean Baker film. Where
Mm-hmm.
everyone just feels incredibly authentic and like they're not even acting. Um, but it does have obviously its own element to it, which makes it, the game show element is really fun. Oh, a little thing, Julia Fox is in this. She's
Mm-hmm.
also a very funny character. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just really liked. I guess I really like I really like the family dynamic of the whole film, and how strong and pervasive that is throughout. Like, they literally insist on putting the family in front of you, in more ways than you can imagine, and I think that's great. And yeah, you should definitely give it a watch. I haven't heard anybody other than that one review talk about it. So, Idiotka. And it was
Cool.
also a written and directed feature, like by the same person. So there's that.
Cool. Well, thank you for the review, Idiotica. I might have to check that out.
Hell yeah.
Let's move into our main review of hoppers. Let's start with a quick spoiler-free summary. When scientists discover a way to transform human consciousness into robotic animals, Mabel uses the new technology to uncover mysteries of the animal world that are beyond anything she could have ever imagined. Um, I'm pleased to report that Pixar is back, baby. I
Hell
had a great
yeah.
time with this film. I thought it was really well written. I thought it was well animated. Um, I thought it did the Pixar thing about having deeper things to say without pushing in your face like they have for the past few years. Yeah, I don't know. I had a really good time with it, which is surprising because I thought the trailers didn't look good, and I think it was honestly kind of done a disservice by the marketing campaign. Just because I don't think I sold how fun the movie is. It's a really fun movie. I really like the supporting characters. Um, yeah, I'm curious. I know you liked it, so I want to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that the trailers were shit, and I was very hyped for this film despite the trailers. I was like, listen, they're just gonna show the most childish jokes and to get butts and seats, and that's it. And it worked. It became one of the biggest, most original film, or one of the biggest original films in the past 10 years, is it, or something like that? Um, so it seemed to work, at least. on that end. But yeah, I really love this film more than I thought I would. For a little context, the director Daniel Chong, yeah, Daniel
We
Chong,
Bear
he
Bears.
made We're Bare Bears, and I really liked that show as a kid. So I was hyped of that to begin with, and yeah, I just thought what a uniquely weird and wonderful um movie that just kept pushing the button. You know what? Okay, how about this? I like the fact that Pixar is embracing scaring the fuck out of these kids. That's they
Yeah,
did a little bit of that with
it's
Elio,
more, yeah, it's definitely more mature and has more
for sure.
interesting things to say about like the environment and human nature and all that. It was honestly surprising seeing that from like a Pixar animated film.
For sure. I mean, yeah. What I was gonna say was like they did a little bit of that in Elio with like that scene of like the clone of Elio like going into the space station where like that was guarded by like military as like a distraction. I don't know if you remember that. Did you watch Elio?
I did, but I don't know if I remember that specific scene.
That's totally fine. I just remember in the theater when I was in the theater and I watched that movie and they played that scene. There was like a little kid right next to me that was going, "Mom, I'm scared," and I'm like, "Yes." And then in this
Scare the
film,
fucking kids.
I mean, I have a thesis. I have an actual meaning behind what I'm saying, but in this film, I also heard reviews of like kids like crying and screaming because of the robot human, which I will not spoil. The robot human was like creepy and weird, and I think some of the best kids films are creepy ones, like or incredibly like emotional ones that aren't afraid, like
Anything that evokes an emotional response.
absolutely, like for example, I don't know, Toy Story 3, the garbage pit scene. um fuck the garbage pit scene. There are other Disney films that have like genuinely like horrifying moments, and not just Disney either. The Prince of Egypt from DreamWorks. That's a weirdly scary movie with incredibly dark scenes and tones. A lot of these classic animated kids films have horror in them, and they're like not afraid to scare the fuck out of these kids. And I think recently we have been afraid of that. Everything, things are becoming more sanitized, and I'm just happy that at least I hope we're leaving that sort of moment of kids films where yeah, we can tell like more adult stories, and we can scare these kids with creepy imagery and have it be meaningful and have it leave an impact. Because at the end of the day, we remember some of these incredibly classic kids films because yeah, at some points they were scary, at some points they were sad, at some points they were fun and funny, and what you said essentially, they left an emotional impact. I
Yeah,
think
it's.
Hoppers
I
does
feel like
that incredibly well.
some parents are just scared to allow their kids to feel like big emotions like fear or sadness or anger or whatever. So they won't even let them experience it in a simulated way through films, which is why I think there's been pushback against that recently, and I'm happy that's not happening anymore. At least this film's a good step in that direction. I really touched on the supporting cast. I really enjoyed Jerry, like the mayor character. I thought he was really fun. I didn't even like him like at the start, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
his character growth was really fun.
Yeah, same.
Um, I really like the like insect king, like little baby insect that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
things happen to, which we'll talk about in spoilers. But he was a really fun character, voiced by Dave Franco. Um,
I also
I like
knew
Diane.
as when he transformed, I was like, "That's Dave Franco. That's 100% Dave
Yeah.
Franco." And when I saw him
Oh,
in the car, I was
you
like,
could tell Dave Franco is having like the time of his life with the performance. He seems like he's
"For
having so
sure,
much fun.
for sure." I'm glad for him.
I love Dave Franco.
He's
He's grown
great,
on me so much.
for
I really do
sure.
have so much fun with Dave Franco every time he's in anything. He's so
Mm,
funny. Yeah, do
yeah,
you want to just move into spoilers?
sure. Why not? Watch
But
this
yeah,
film, please.
yeah, watch the film if you haven't seen the movie and you plan to. Now's a good time to click off. Like I was mentioning before, there's a transformation happens to Dave Franco's character. He becomes like this robot version of Jerry, and when that happens, um, it's just such a great moment and brings so much energy into the film to the final like act. It's so
Mm-hmm.
fun. I really like the whole in like the whole like uh what is it? Like the group of like all the king insects. What was that called?
Like, the something. I know what you're talking about. Let's just say the animal
The
kingdom or the leader.
tribunal, the tribunal. I don't know, whatever you would call it, but like
The
that.
the board.
Yeah, I don't know
It
the
was essentially
committee.
the board. Yeah, the committee.
Whatever.
Oh my god, we're making it sound so lame.
Yeah. I don't know. That
The
whole plot line was fun. Like the different
yeah.
animal
How did
kingdoms
you
was
react when squish?
what?
How did you react when squish?
Oh, I thought it was great. I thought it was so funny.
Dude, my jaw literally dropped on the floor, bro. Like I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit."
he killed them.
Bro, absolutely. I was like, "Oh my god, like that actually just happened
Yeah.
in this kids movie? Like what the fuck?"
Yeah. I really like the whole like pawn rules concept. I thought
Yeah.
like the world building was really fun.
Mhm.
Which is why I say it reminds me of old Pixar. It's such a fun world with fun characters that you want to be around. I really like the protagonist Mabel. Thought she was fun. Um,
Yeah, one thing about the characters real quick. I did really like the whole animal kingdom. I also liked how they made not I mean they made them all distinct, not just in their animalness, I guess, but I felt like they were all distinct in personality, like even between the different birds or the different bugs or whatever. I don't know how to explain this in a better way, but even I just remember this one the scene where like they're where the animals are controlling the humans to make the robot human or make the robot
mhm.
Jerry, and like we see them on the backs of the scientists, and I'm like I love how all of these animals have like different ways of controlling the humans. um it just makes, I don't know, the interaction between the different kingdoms and their cooperation and their characteristics, it's those little details that I was fascinated by and really sold me on it. And yeah, Mabel's great. Also, I was really into her, I guess, emotional thesis of like working hard and feeling like you're like doing things wrong or like not getting what you want from like working hard, but then it paying off eventually. Like I don't know, I really fucked with that. Um, I you know recently I've been saying this movie made me cry. Hoppers made me cry. Um, but I feel like I'm saying that to a point where it doesn't mean much. I really don't cry at movies. I guess maybe it's just I've been watching a lot of movies lately, but I really don't cry at movies like that. Maybe a little bit more like in the past year or so, but yeah, I don't know. I think when a movie makes me cry, it definitely means something. It definitely is something special. Because I don't cry at most things. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, point being, I really liked Mabel. I really liked all the different characters. Uh, did you read? Sorry, did you wait? Did you have something else to say about Hoppers real quickly? I mean, I'm still gonna talk about
yeah.
it.
I just really like the environmental message about how
Oh,
we all
true.
have to work together, like humans and animals. Well, in that world, but that's just like people in general. That it's not too late, even though like they were right about a finished construction of the highway. They were able to turn the situation around, and how like everything seems lost, but we just got to put in the work, and we can revert everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
I think
revert
that
it, but
make it
minimize the
good.
damage we've done already.
Yeah, make it better. Yeah, I agree. I think. Um, yeah, I mean, I just think it was a really beautiful message, in general. Not a message that you get often, especially delivered in that sort of from that like type of character, where like they're a fuck up, essentially. One thing
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up. did you hear about the article that Pete Docter gave?
Yeah, I did. I didn't read it, but I did hear that he did say some controversial things.
Yeah, I read it. So I guess I just wanted to ask your opinion on a few things. Well,
Go
I
ahead.
guess we should have mentioned this in news as well.
It's
During
all
the
right.
article, they mentioned that they were making two new films, which was in no Incredibles. Fuck. Well, one of them was
Yeah,
Ono Ghost Market.
one's a musical. I
Yes,
know they're making Monsters Inc. 3, they
Monsters
announced,
Inc. 3.
and
Yeah.
there's another original which I don't remember, but it was
Which was
that one's not a
Ono's Ghost
musical.
Market. It was apparently based on, or they were gonna make it a show, and then they were like, "Nah, fuck it, let's make it a movie." Which is, it's based on like the Asian stories of ghost markets being where markets like food markets and such being where humans and ghosts like interact. I don't know. It sounds pretty cool, but
Hmm.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about what he said in terms of what the future or what a potential flaw in previous and latest Pixar films is, where he thinks that, or not he thinks, he said that these Pixar films shouldn't be like $200 million therapy sessions, and that we have to make them more universal to people around the world or whatever, yada yada, yada. Not as personal, essentially. um yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that, Alan? About what he said about that?
Yeah, I think it's important to strike a balance between like uh the whole like I hate to call it therapy, but like let's just for lack of a better word, like the therapy aspect,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like actual story, and it has to seamlessly fit. I feel like the last film that had that was like Coco, where
Mm.
uh, seamlessly like interwoven like the emotional elements within within the overall story of the film. Which is why I say we're back is because I feel like this film really did that.
Yeah, I agree. I do think it is being a little demonized a little bit, in the way that he says it, because he it does sound bad, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
It
I
sounds
heard
like the
it's not a great
message.
interview.
It really isn't. The whole article is essentially saying how unconfident he was and is leading Pixar, and how much he kind of doesn't know what he's doing, um, which he himself will admit, in the article. Um, uh, but yeah, it's not the best delivered like way of saying that. Even though to an extent I agree, I just don't. It's just hard to, I guess, strike that balance, because he says he's a very hands off studio lead, where he's just like, you know what, everyone just do what you want to do, and then like I'll trust you and this, that, and the other. And I can see where that I can see where someone like him would want to do that, especially being a director himself, working on incredibly personal films. But some level of studio intervention is not necessarily needed. I'm not gonna say needed, but I guess, yeah, to maintain that sort of universal aspect, I could see some studio intervention playing a major role in these films.
Mhm.
I am just I guess afraid of kind of the spirit of what he said uh being maintained, not necessarily the good aspect of it, but like the impersonal aspect of it being a message that happens throughout future films of Pixar, of like, let's not make these films too personal, guys, like, you know what I mean, because I do think more personal, and I also think I'm being a little vague as to what I mean by like a personal something in a film. But I do prefer a more personal film versus a more universal film, I would say. um so I guess I'm afraid of them pushing that universality too
Mhm.
heavy on whatever future films, because I'm excited for what's coming up next. Like Gato seems really cool. Oh no, Ghost Market seems really cool, and then the other one that you literally just mentioned and I just forgot as well, seems really cool. I'm not super hyped about Monsters Inc. 3. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, it'll be what it is, and we'll just have to find out until we get more information. It was just announced. We really don't know anything about it yet. So
Yeah, I'm honestly not hyped for any of these sequels. Toy Story 5 is probably just gonna be like Toy Story 4, and I do not care for Toy Story 4.
yeah, I
I
will
didn't even
say
think
the
it...
Toy Story 5 trailer did look pretty great in front of this one.
Yeah,
I
it
am.
looks interesting.
It did get me substantially more excited to see it.
Fair. Yeah, no, it does. I am more seated for it, but I just don't think you can give me a Toy Story story where I'll be like, yeah, this is better than the OG 3. More specifically, better
Yeah,
than the 3, which is my favorite.
yeah. Alternatively, the Moana live action looked particularly bad this time I watched it. It almost looked like if like an AI prompt of like a live action Moana. That one, like I know they didn't change the trailer, but
Uh-huh.
this watch just was particularly tough. That one is good. That one, oof,
When does that come out
that's
again?
gonna be
Like in
like
August?
July. Like yeah, like soon. I don't even know. It's
What? It's gonna
dumb.
make $1 billion, so I don't even know why we're
Yeah,
talking about how bad it's gonna look because it's just gonna make a fucking billion. I've accepted it at this point.
yeah,
But I agree. I never liked the way that trailer looked. Oh boy. Um,
yeah. We'll
yeah.
see how that turns out. We'll see how that comes out.
I'm also just not excited about. Sorry to go back, or not sorry, but going back to Pixar again. I'm really not excited about Monsters Inc. 3. Not that I think that nothing can be done about it, but I just I don't know. I just in Coco 2, what are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with Coco 2? I'm sorry. That's the biggest question
Yeah,
mark in my
that
head.
that one's stupid. There's a lot of stupid ones. It's dumb.
Incredibles 3 could be something only if they do a time skip. If they don't, throwing it in the trash.
Yeah.
Incredibles is in my top 4 films of all time. So Incredibles 2 is non-existent in my head. And the fact that they'll be doing it again, I think with the new director who isn't Brad Bird, which could be something interesting. Um, or it could be Buns. I don't know. Yeah, one thing going back to our main point of Hoppers real quickly. One thing I did like about it was how absurd it was in its comedy. More specifically, I just remember towards the very end where I think it was Mayor Robot Jerry like threw the Beaver Jerry like across the forest, or not across the forest, but like against like a tree, and then the Beaver Jerry exploded. I think that got one of the biggest laughs out of me. And
Yeah, it was very funny.
Yeah, it was very random, but not in like a random equals funny way. It was a random in a genuinely funny way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had
I
a
don't know.
great time with the movie. I definitely recommend it. I don't really have much else to add. Do you?
Um, Not necessarily about the film. One more thing about, I guess, the discourse. I don't know if you saw that Daniel Chong on his Twitter, he released like a 2D animation of like hoppers as like a test
I did.
before.
Yeah, that was interesting. It did look nice. It looked very Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I just think everybody, I think it's a little weird when everybody says like, "Oh, they should have just made the whole movie like this. Like I would have seen it." No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah,
um
it's much
uh
easier to say than to actually act on it.
yeah. It's just kind of disappointing that that's the sentiment, but it is what it is. But regardless, it is a
Yeah,
beautiful animation. It is very
yeah,
Hayao Miyazaki-esque. Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty much all I have to say about Hoppers. Great film. Please go watch it.
Cool. Yeah, definitely go watch it. With that being said, that's it for episode 27 of Popcorn Problems. Sorry, not episode 27, episode 28. Episode 28 of Popcorn Problems. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and if you made it this far, you're the real MVP. We'll be back next week reviewing Undertone, a horror movie specifically fit for this format that you guys are listening to. In the meantime, you can hit us up
Maybe
on
will
socials
be
at Popcorn Problems
undertoned.
Pod. Ooh, maybe. And let us know what you thought of Poppers. Don't forget to follow rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're using, and DM us your hottest takes and suggestions. We will see you next time. Peace.
Have a good one.